Tendi, the co-deuteragonist of the animated TV series Star Trek Lower Decks, is my favorite female character in any media right now, and probably one of the best female characters in anything come out in the early 2020s. And surprisingly, no, my reason for believing this isn't just because of her being super pretty and everything I would want in a girlfriend. Okay, that's a decent portion, but there's better reasons for me feeling that way as well, I swear. So, what makes her so dang good? Most of the praise Tendi got as a character from sci-fi journalism spheres was on the basis of her defying the way female Orions were written in most of the previous series and movies they appeared in, as in either concubines or femme fatales using their pheromones to control every man of a non-Orion species around them, and make every woman of a non-Orion species around them very sick. But I think that minimizes what actually makes Tendi work so well as a character. If all the writers did was invert the stereotypes of Orions with her, or do something like make a major part of her personality be a disdain for human men and the stereotypes around Orions, then I don't think she'd be as good of a character liked by as many people as she is in the actual show. Rather than completely try to scrub Tendi clean of any of the tropes relating to Orions being ideal alien male fantasies, they present Tendi within a reframed idea of what an ideal alien male fantasy would look like to geeky men in the 21st century. The way this applies to Tendi in regards to the idea that she represents what an ideal alien male fantasy would look like to geeky men in the 21st century is in how, for starters, while still undeniably attractive, Tendi's not in a constant lust state. Most geeky guys in the 2010s onward would want to date someone that's just as big of a geek as they are. And they would want to date someone with a good heart that brings joy into their lives and makes them want to be a better person. And they want someone with their own drive and goals and try their best to support them in those goals. Oh, and as for the geeky girls in the audience, Tendi herself seems like an exceptionally good character for them to identify with. A lot of my female friends growing up, and even in college and some of my social circles after that, have traits that remind me quite a bit of Tendi. Basically, Tendi and Rutherford's ship-tease-loaded best friendship is a two-way case of tasteful wish fulfillment. Because just as Tendi is best girl personified, Rutherford is best boy personified. Their relationship is one of, if not the most wholesome and healthy relationship between a man and a woman, whether platonic or romantic, in any modern TV series I'm inclined to watch. They're two people who respect each other's intellect, said intellect being in different places for the two of them, science and medicine for Tendi, technology and engineering for Rutherford, balancing each other out and complementing one another, understanding what each other wants out of life, and if there's ever any awkwardness or one of them actually does do something to upset the other, they take time to talk about it and really don't have lasting issues with anything about each other as a result. In regards to their relationship, Tendi could almost be seen as a manic pixie dream girl to Rutherford. You know, that trope that's become everyone's favorite, least favorite trope, due to it usually referring to a weird or quirky woman with no characterization outside of livening up a sad man's life. Tendi does liven up Rutherford's life, but she has her own goals and identity as well. And Rutherford livens up her life while also having his own goals and identity. And neither of them were overly depressed before meeting each other, or at least not in an obvious way, with Tendi's issues being more insecurity, self-doubt, and people-pleasing tendencies, while Rutherford's issues come from identity issues relating to his cybernetic implant in ways that are too complicated to describe if I'm trying to focus on Tendi. Regardless, their unconditional support for one another definitely plays a big part in making sure their flaws don't consume them. Tendi, while clearly valuing Rutherford and, to a lesser extent, Boimler as friends, and maybe having a crush on Rutherford, doesn't define herself by how much men like her. She has issues with wanting people to like her, but it's pretty clear that has nothing to do with men specifically in a romantic context, and she just has unhealthy people-pleasing tendencies and self-doubt about whether she's good enough for some of the positions she goes for. And it's made clear that while outside factors are usually a reason for her low self-esteem, it's not going to get better unless she puts in the work. While there may be a part of her that wants a boyfriend, she prioritizes her duties as a science and medical officer and making her way up in Starfleet well above that. In fact, of the four main ensigns, her love life gets the least focus. And when I say a part of her that wants a boyfriend, I'm inclined to mean a part of her that wants Rutherford to be her boyfriend. Any moment where she ever expressed interest in anyone else was in the earlier episodes before her character was fully defined, and even then, she was very fond of Rutherford. However, it's clear that Tendi and Rutherford value each other's friendship above everything else, and that what Tendi needs is an endlessly supportive best friend like Rutherford, not a boyfriend. Once they finally do take the relationship upgrade, it will be all the better because they've taken the time to really figure things out, and I would think that Tendi and Rutherford love each other precisely because their friendship comes first, and that their interactions as an actual couple would hardly be any different from their interactions as best friends. As a result of this, there are a handful of episodes where Tendi and Rutherford have no significant interactions. And I'll admit, yes, unless they have an especially creative premise, these episodes I tend to find more boring than ones where they do have significant emotional interactions because of how much of my emotional investment in the show is in their relationship, So yeah, I'm something a hypocrite there. But these are kind of a necessary sacrifice so that Tendi can be an objectively good character and not just that previously mentioned alien male fantasy. So thank you, Mike McMahon, for making the best teen and adult-oriented animated comedy installment in a long-running major media franchise ever created up to this point. Thank you, Noelle Wells, for bringing Tendi to life, and thank you, Devana Tendi, for being such a queen. Watch Star Trek Lower Decks on Paramount Plus, or Amazon Prime Video if you live outside the United States, or buy it on iTunes, Google Play, or Amazon's iTunes/Google Play style media library.